Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final day of Week 4 of Duo Esports' Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold competitive series. This time with first seed Exile Esports taking on third seed All One Lane. Joining me on the broadcast tonight
is the one and the only Eclipsed slash Edgy E-Girl slash Dark Sovereign.
a man going by the many names, but you're just one color caster joining me tonight here, Dark Sovereign. How do you feel that matchup right now between Exile Esports and All One Lane?
AOL has definitely been looking better than they were at the start of the season, and Exile is definitely looking like a top tier team. Their loss being to Sad Boys coming yesterday, so they are currently tied right now. And I believe, depending on how tiebreakers work, Sad Boys is actually in the lead because they won their matchup against Exile.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, All One Lane are looking pretty good. They've picked up a hot 2-0 in their last week, and they're now on stream two times tonight. So first on, they have XL Esports, by far the more difficult opponent out of the two. They also face ActiveVerge Academy later on tonight, and that will be something to see indeed. But right now, against Exile, they're in for definitely a challenge.
I'm excited to see this. I think both teams are very good. I'm interested to see how the pick bans turns out. I'm also interested to see if we'll see any interesting picks and any interesting strategies. Are we going to see the good old NAA round?
It's definitely a possibility. We did see an ARAM on stream yesterday. I don't believe we'll see another one. And of course, we will be able to launch this one up pretty soon. Any bans that you foretell before we get to the pick ban phase?
I am expecting to see a Riven ban. That one's pretty given. What else do I think we'll see? We might see an Oriana or Swain ban away from Spike, and we might see a ban coming in for Exile Nona in either the Zoe or the Vladimir.
Zoe or the Vladimir. Yeah, I agree with you on all those actually. I definitely think that if we don't see a Riven ban, there's something weird in IOL's coffee, and they might want to check that out real quick. Kaze has done great on this Riven so far, and very rarely do you think of competitive Riven working out as well as it has for Exile Esports. And a lot of that success has come with the Conqueror changes, even though they've been hit a little bit. Riven's still a very strong champion and definitely a ban away from Exile Esports.
I would agree. Conqueror did propel Riven a lot harder into professional and into competitive than we expected. We see it a lot in LCS now from a lot of different players. So once Conqueror gets nerfed next patch, we'll see how it evens out. Is there anything else that you'd like to see from the pick ban? I'm thinking maybe force Xylandis on something that isn't so utility based.
Okay, so maybe a Sivir ban we could be looking at. Has been a champion he's played a fair share of in Sivir, being very much utility based, safe AD carry, sits in the back, presses R on the hunt, and gives her and her team a lot of movement speed.
It does, and if you build the right comp around it, you can just steamroll over teams, press the Sivir button, just start going down the lane, just charging it.
Here is our pick ban launching up right now. We'll see how many of those bans come to fruition. I do agree with you 100%, Dark Sovereign, that a Swain ban should be in due. It is one of Spike's best champions. And here are the bans getting rolled out very quickly.
We see the Silas ban coming from EXE, pretty strong champion this patch. The Nunu ban following it, and for the side of AOL, we see the Vladimir ban and the Riven ban. So I'm curious to see what their last ban will be. Will it be the Zoe? Will you try to force something else out of them? Are you going to try picking up a strong counter pick into the Zoe like Sad Boys did in the Fizz?
Yeah, it definitely could be an option. I think that might have just been a Sad Boys thing, and not necessarily something that teams will be trying to pick into Exile Esports. Fizz isn't something we've seen too much of We've seen a little bit more of that prevalent in the GPCS, not so much in the IBS GCS.
Doesn't matter the Zoe getting banned for the last ban from AOL, and the last ban from Exile is the Yorick.
Yeah, that is. Yorick being a super strong champion right now, just being able to split push and almost become unkillable in certain matchups. So definitely a really good ban on the side of Exile.
We see the Kennen first pick coming out. I feel like that'll be something that Kaze is playing and not so much Nona. It can be flexed between mid and top, but Kennen top tends to be a little bit better in competitive.
Could be an option, but the flex is still there for Exile Esports. If they don't like the matchup, they would go into the Kennen. So all in all, it could go mid lane. I'm agreeing with you as being likely being in the top lane, but that flexibility is still there. Additionally, on one lane, now lock in the Sejuani.
I mean, if we're talking about flex picks, Kennen is probably one of the best ones. We've seen it played in 4 lanes competitively. Because we have seen it in top lane, we've seen it in mid lane, we've also seen it played both in AD carry and support. So
That we have.
we see the Jinx and the Sejuani picked up for AOL. Kid of Fire has been playing a lot of Jinx in this tournament, so it does not surprise me, and Sejuani's just a really good competitive pickup. Lots of CC, lots of engage potential.
A really strong tank that her team needs. All in all, just a very nice pick. Not entirely bad jungle clear either. So Sejuani, very much a well-rounded champion.
See the Zac pickup coming through, and we will see the last pick in this section of the pick ban coming from EXE, and I'm curious as to what it'll be.
We'll see. It could be support. They don't want to show too much, or it could just be the Sivert before they lose that in the next set of bans. We've talked about it before. Zyland is very much a comfort pick with the Sivert.
Again, the utility 80 carry coming out, and you speeding up Kennen into that team. He's going to start zapping everyone.
Yeah, that indeed will be the case for Exile Esports. So far, they're not really afraid to show their hands. They very much want to up in your face kind of composition. The Sivert is going to help them do this, but what?
You pick the Nasus pickup from AOL. Not ideal to pick Nasus into Kennen because Nasus is just going to get bullied a lot.
Okay, I mean, we've seen a Nasus jungle at one point in time, but that was way early on at the start of the GPCS, and we already have a Sejuani, so we won't be seeing Nasus jungle, and this is Nasus top. Tell me a little bit more about this Nasus top here.
The Kennen's just going to pick Klepto and auto attack the Nasus and steal his lunch money. That's how this is going to go.
That sounds rough. Is there anything the doggy can do about it?
Cry.
Well, I guess
Try
that
to
might be
farm under tower.
something. All right. Well, I mean, as far as the Nasus goes, it does put a timer on this game. If the game gets too long and Exile are not able to close this out quickly, the Nasus is absolutely disgusting in the late game. If he's given free roam to just farm all the game, he can get one too many stacks, and then he's not exactly a puppy walking out of the laning phase.
He is definitely not a puppy, but we might see him get smacked around a little bit. We see the Orianna and the Morgana band coming out from AOL to round out their bands. Nona has been picking up the Orianna, hopefully so that he doesn't quite get banned out as much. Maybe he has a little bit more of a champ pool. And Morgana's just a really strong support. Shuts down a lot of the engage potential on a lot of teams. And on the side of Exile, our last 2 bans are the Vel'Koz and the Swain. Both are champs that Spike plays quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely the case here. So good bans on the side of Exile Esports so far. They're not letting mid lane become that really oppressive AoE champion that ends up doing way too much damage in the team fights. No Swain or Vel'Koz to come through for Spike.
See the Alistar to round out the bot lane for AOL. Jinx Alistar, pretty strong bot lane. Good front line for the Jinx. This team looks very strong in front to backs. You have the Sejuani, the Alistar, the Nasus just soaking up tons of damage for the Jinx later on. And that's assuming that the Nasus could just be off in a side lane hitting your towers.
Yeah, that is a possibility as well. So I do believe this Nasus will be mainly oriented around split pushing if Exile Esports will have a bit of breathing room. So we'll definitely see how Sheer Will's Nasus ends up performing. If it doesn't get out of the laning phase, it's pretty useless approaching mid game.
Yeah, it's pretty useless approaching mid game. Then you just gotta hope that you can scale into the monster late game. Annie and Nami picked up Fire and Water.
And
The Annie's
Ice.
and Ice. The Anivia picked up for Spike. Again, big control mage mid lane. Exactly what we expect to see Spike on.
Yeah, absolutely the case here. And now that we know our matchups, I already kind of briefly touched over top lane. We both are very much in favor of the Kennen here, just be able to bully the Nasus and absolutely take control of that. But since we know Kennen will be bullying Nasus, Nasus will be pushed up to his turret. Kennen will be moving up. Let's talk about the jungle matchup here. Zac versus Sejuani. Do we think that Sejuani will be paying a couple of visits up in the top lane?
I think she should focus the top lane. I think she should come visit, try to relieve some pressure on the Nasus. Zac can try to counter gank. Do I think he's going to? Probably not. I'd like to see him try and shut down the Anivia or the bot lane, just try to get the other lane snowballing, and just tell Kaze, hey, you do you, just be aware, you're probably going to get ganked.
Yeah, definitely the case here. Hopefully on the side for Iowa, they can relieve some of the pressure that Nasus is going to receive. Now looking at our mid lane matchup, very interesting stuff here. Both very polar opposite champions, if you will. Annie versus Anivia. How does that one go down?
We got a Song of Fire and Ice going on mid lane. We got the Annie, the Fire, got Anivia with the Ice. I'm not a huge fan of Annie as a champion personally. I think she's kind of dumb, but I can understand why it was picked in this comp. Good AoE. You get the Sivir, you just run them down with the Annie and just tibbers them. It's pretty strong. The Anivia, you're if it ever becomes a siege, you are never going to be able to out siege Anivia's wave clear unless you can stun her to deny it.
Yeah, definitely something super problematic that Exile Esports might have to deal with. Anivia, as you just said, being a monster in the late game in our own right, just press R, the wave's gone, and you can't do anything about it. So definitely on the side for Owen Lane, they have this super late game team. If the game gets to 30 plus minutes, then Exile Esports might be in trouble. But finally, rounding out this rough analysis of both the teams, we have the bottom lane of Sivir Nami versus Jinx Alistar. Tell me how that one works.
The Alistar is a really good pick into the Sivir because the Sivir physically cannot spell shield the combo. Because if she spell shields the E, then I said that wrong. If she spell shields the headbutt, then she's guaranteed to get hit by the pulverize. If she tries to spell shield the pulverize, she's gonna spell shield the headbutt anyways. So ideally, you just don't stand next to each other as the Sivir and Nami. Don't get both knocked up. But if you guys have a good chance of just getting engaged on. So you guys need to kind of play the lane safe, kind of just scale up, but that's what Jinx wants to do as well. But 6 item Sivir, 500 CS Sivir isn't a saying for nothing. If she reaches that point, she can just ricochet crit an entire team and just melt people.
Yeah, definitely the case here. For the case of this bottom lane, hopefully for Exile, they are wary of Alistar's combo. And finally, we're going to look at the team comps as a whole. Exile Esports, very much more of an early game centered team composition as opposed to Olin Lane and their super duper late game team comp. Who's are you liking more and why?
I like Exile's comp because it is very much pull the trigger and just run them down. You have a ton of AoE ults and team fighting ults in the Nami, in the Kennen. Sivir ult gets you into the fight. Annie ult just stuns everyone up. So if they can get good engages, if they start to snowball, This team is very scary.
All right, and you know what? I am going to agree with you. I think that Exile's comp, for the reasons you just mentioned, is better. It just has that trigger button that I'm not entirely sure how AOL will be able to really react. Yes, they have the Alistar for some light disengage, but he himself has to go in and essentially use his entire kit for a disengage, which could easily just end up being another pick for Exile Esports. They have so much range with this Zac pick right here from Docs to be able to use an elastic slingshot to get into the fight and abuse the fog of war very easily. If he gets at least two people with his ultimate combo, then that could easily be full-on disengage fire alarm mode for one lane.
I will say that if Spike is on point with this Anivia and he knows where they're coming from, he can just wall them off, deny them the engage, but he can also knock the Zac out of his elastic slingshot with the wall if he times it perfectly. So
Perfectly definitely isn't an exaggeration there, because I don't think I've seen that ever before where Anivia manages to wall off his Zac engage. That sounds super powerful, but definitely perfect is not an exaggeration there.
I expect to see 5 points from both teams. Neither team has a outstanding level 1. I mean, you have an Alistar if they face check you, but you don't really have much follow-up CC after that, unless, like, Spike starts Anivia Q, which you can. Not personally what I do, but... And it does look like we're just gonna see the 5 point.
Yep, just 5 point, nothing too crazy happening on right now. So we do indeed hop into the bread and butter of this matchup here. As far as early pressure goes, we talked about the Sejuani a lot and that she might be looking in this top lane here. We didn't talk too much about the Zac. What do we think he's going to do early on this game?
Zac can gank from very weird angles once he has a couple points into his elastic slingshot. I want to see him go mid to just try and make it so that Spike has to wait even longer to get to the point where he's just a wave clear monster and annoying to deal with and shove into.
Definitely. Kid of Fire, face check in the bush here. We'll take the worst end of that trade. Down to actually 50% now.
Doesn't get to recall to heal up, has to go to lane. He's gonna start getting the shove. Maybe they hit level 2, but now it's not as good to hit level 2 this lane.
Yeah, definitely. Going to definitely promote harassment in this bottom lane from Exile. Gamer should definitely be looking to poke Kid out even more, or Oshun on his Alistar to prevent that level 2 initiation.
See Zac go from the red buff to the Krug. Sejuani went from red buff to Raptors. I imagine that she'll go to Scuttle Crab and then maybe look to see if she can get a cheesy gank top. I don't know if she will, though.
Yeah, it's a possibility, and we'll see how it goes down for sure. Right now the lane's very calm, both junglers roughly mirroring the other as far as the map goes. Nothing too crazy right now.
I was wrong. Instead, the Sejuani's just gonna walk into our bottom side and start clearing that. The Zac's gonna walk to the Scuttle Crab.
Well, and it looks like Doc should be able to get that Scuttle Crab uncontested. There is no reaction from one lane, so the bottom lane not quite going to push up. Doesn't have to, and right now Kid and Oshun just going to simply play it safe, farm back, get the wave into a better position.
Just gonna clear the wave, try to shove in as Sivers do. Ping's going up into the top side of AOL's jungle. They think the Sejuani might be there, but that's not where she is. She's at the Gromp.
She is at the Gromp. Nayang Jin just doing Sejuani things early on, not looking for too much gank pressure in this matchup, and for Owen lane that's kind of what you want. Ideally, if you can get any of the lanes ahead, then excellent, but if you can just have the game extend by 20 minutes without nothing happening, then that's still in your favor for your AOL.
As we said, the Cannon's just up here bullying the Nasus under his tower. It's gonna be somewhat even in farm, just a couple CS behind, but we'll probably see that CS lead start to grow more and more. And we have to keep in mind, Kennan's getting even more gold with the Klepto.
Definitely the case here. So Nasus will have a rough time in this lane, but so far it is being played in his favor as the waves getting shoved into him. So even though there should be a bit more of a CS deficit right now, it isn't quite going down like that. Sheer Will able to stay back safely on this Nasus and heal up with the passive.
Agreed, he's just healing up with the passive, just trying to farm out the lane. I would like to see Kaze let it kind of shove into him, and then just freeze the lane just outside of his tower, and then just zone the Nasus out completely.
100% agree with you on that. Nasus, the lane's going a little too much in his favor right now, and he should be starved out of farm in the future. It is now shoved into Kaze in the top lane, so ideally that should be a freeze cooked up, a little bit of pressure. Now in this bottom lane, engage onto the Nami and the Sivir. Very nice stuff from AOL. They will be able to just disengage that very quickly now.
Dax up here ganking top lane.
Yeah, Doc's looking for something in his top lane, but it doesn't look like the follow-up is there. Sheerwill able to use the brushes to escape. That's a lot of pressure off of the Nasus now.
So at the 5-minute mark, we see a 10 minion lead mid lane, and 5-6 minion lead bot lane, but the wave's being shoved into her. I'm curious to see what's happening mid lane though. Annie should be bullying the Anivia, but I don't think the Anivia should be down 10 CS at this point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it is down to that shove a little bit, and, you know, mix of poor CSing, but Anivia, not the greatest farmer in the early game. Should be able to catch back up to that, though, but as we can see, Spike, a little difficult for him to not run out of mana that quickly.
Very difficult to not run out of mana, that is true. I want to see what build he ends up going. I have been seeing some Anivias not go Roa currently for some reason, and I want to see if he continues that, or if we just see him just grab the tier, build the Roa, just go the super tanky, not tanky, but you get a lot of mana, you get a lot of AP, and you just sit there and you just insta-clear waves and just never let them siege.
Yeah, I mean, it's tanky as far as mana bars go, but other than that, yeah, I get what you're saying, definitely. Go for the tier, which whenever we do indeed see it, and a mana crystal, so that will help Anivia very much out in this lane phase.
Not much going on right now, just a lot of farming, a lot of bullying. As I said earlier, we didn't see much of a CS lead earlier, but now we have 20 CS up top lane. Kennen really starting to harass the Nasus out of CS.
Definitely the case now, and as we're starting to get a little bit further into this game, we see that the waves are playing more and more of an impactful role. We have an Ocean Dragon also very much sitting pretty on its own in the pit. Do we think that either team should be making moves towards that soon?
I think we'll see at least one team fight start to break out over the dragon, unless it just ends up getting snuck by one team for some reason. I would like to see them start to contest vision on it, and I'd like it to be Exile that does it, because their team fight, once everyone is 6, is so insanely strong that if AOL tries to contest, you just take the team fight.
Definitely a strength on Exile Esports' side right now. If they indeed choose to acquire that vision in the first place, then they'll definitely be able to do so. But so far, the only ward from Exile around the Draken is that one very, very defensive trinket ward likely, just in the back.
See the Nasus walking back up to top lane, gonna shove this in. Maybe look to reset. I don't think he'll try to reset. I'd like to see Kaze just try to trim the wave a bit to keep the freeze. Doesn't look like it's gonna happen though.
Yeah. So for Nasus, I mean, he's down CS in his laning phase, but we're approaching the 9-minute marker. No kills to go on so far. And while, yeah, that works out for Exile, nothing wrong is happening, it's also a matter of nothing is happening. Nothing good either. So all in lane, so far the game's going very smoothly for them.
I just want to take a look at the inventories for Exile. Everyone has a control word except for Nona in their inventory currently. That's a lot
Okay.
of potential vision. You can set up to take this dragon really easily now. Handing over the blue buff to... Not handing over the blue buff to Spike, it ended up getting taken by...
Unlucky. Okay. That's actually going to hurt Nivea's laning phase a lot. Sejuani is going to look to use that blue buff at least in initiating the dragon.
So taking the dragon... I want to see Exile, like, check the dragon. But I don't think they're going to. I think he just gets to sneak it for free.
No, there's actually no reaction out of Exile. That defensive ward that we saw earlier did indeed wear off. Dragon first gets secured by all in lane. That Ocean's going to do wonders for them.
The next Drake's an Infernal, so I'm assuming that Exile will look to care about that one a little bit more. But you really don't want to just give Ocean Drakes up to things like the Anivia, like the Chings. They're just gonna use it to sustain their mana to help wave clear even more and just stall you out of the game.
Yeah, absolutely the case here. It looks like Exile might be looking to make some moves here up in this top lane, but the pings come through and Dox will indeed hover around the Scuttle Crab.
Look for the Scuttle Crab, get some vision for topside, maybe help protect Kennen a little bit more. Sejuani hasn't really looked top, but she's level 7. She can definitely look to use her ult to just engage somewhere.
That she can and is indeed leaning on that bottom half of the map so far. Looking for them to push up. There's the Blast Cone. Looking for this one. Now Young Jin. The spell shield yet to be used by Xylandis. There's the bubble and the flash away from Gamer. The initiation not getting pulled on the side of all one lane, and Exile Esports are able to escape.
You don't burn anything from all in lane for that gank. You didn't burn the Sejuani ult, you didn't burn her flash, you didn't burn anything other than an Alistar flash, which is a good engage tool, but you also never got the Sivir spell shield, so you can't just ult. You have to get the Sivir spell shield to ult her.
A little bit of failed initiation from AOL so far. Looking to make some early moves, but they slipped on the dance floor. First, Tibbers gets lovingly tossed out in the mid lane. That's not going to do anything to Spike.
Well, it also doesn't help that he just whiffed the Tibbers.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help with that either, but...
No damage, no stun, it's not gonna do anything.
Uh-oh, Doki up in the top lane. Jir Will trying to get a kill on here. He gets stunned underneath the turret, but that's first blood, +6 on the stacks.
Plus 12 on the stacks, not plus 6.
+12, okay. Well, add another 6 onto that and then we're fine.
It's 12 stacks for all champions, cannon minions, and large monsters.
Alright, well, either way, that's a big cash-in to come through for Cheerwell. A little bit of an overstep from Kaze.
Can't get close to him, you're a bully, you want to stay out of his range and just poke him. Just keep poking him in the eye, take his lunch money with the Klepto, but you just got a little too close, he flashed on you and you died.
Yeah. Got a little too close to the backpack where that lunch money was, unfortunately. And now Shearwell in a very nice position in this top lane, 1-0-0. Initiation in the bottom lane as well. Alistar lands the combo. There's the tidal wave used defensively. And Xylandis is able to escape.
Again, Alistar combo's really strong into Sivir. She can't spell shield it. So if you walk up and you try to spell shield it, you're not helping yourself.
No, you're not. And Kaze also not helping himself either by trying to take the fight here on towards Sheer Will. Now Young Jin, there's the ulti, lands it perfectly, and that's another kill for Nasus.
Kaze is not looking so hot on this Kennen like he was on the Riven. We see a pause coming out.
Weston is indeed coming through. Wouldn't be a Duo Esports stream without a pause. So now let's talk about this top lane a little bit. We said no, the cannon should be the one that's getting this pressure up in this top lane. It's getting kills, but suddenly that's turned on its head.
At this point, it's now Nasus's lane. You can't do much in it as the Kennen. He's got Spectre's Cowl, which just gives him the health, gives him the magic resist, also gives him healing whenever you start auto attacking him and like using spells on him. So plus he has the Glacial Shroud for even more sustained. It's just stop your poke. Plus his inborn healing, plus his ult if you start getting a little too close to comfort. So it's just really hard to kill him at this point. Plus the Sejuani visit to just secure the second kill, just propelling him even farther into the lead.
Yeah, definitely the case here, and now even though there's still a CS deficit visible in its top lane, it's neutralized by both of the kills that Sheerwill has. And this is going to absolutely work wonders for AOL as they scale up into the late game.
If we look, the Kennen has gained a total of 4,458 gold this game. The Nasus is now at 4,468. So that lead that you got from CS completely gone now.
Yeah, definitely, and props to now Young Jin, spending a little bit of time in this top lane and helping that second kill to come through. Does indeed redeem himself from that failed bottom lane engage earlier.
I mean, the bottom lane gank, he didn't have to battle his ult, so he got to use it here. Just exerting enough pressure to allow the Nasus to escape the hard lane and keep scaling. I want to see him try and help the other lanes, because we still see a 15 CS lead mid. We see a lead for AOL bot lane currently in CS. I want to see them get pressure around the Dragon or the Rift Herald now.
Alright, so Rift Herald wouldn't be bad now. They should wait a little bit to acquire that one Nasus, and Sejuani likely won't push out this wave to punish the cannon even harder. Early Rift Heralds, like super early, around this time aren't too good, as you don't have all the turret pushing tools and items to siege with the Rift Herald.
You take a couple turret platings now, rotate, get some vision, reset, and then the next time you come to gank this cannon, or you get enough pressure top lane, then you just go into the Rift Herald. You don't want the Rift Herald and the Infernal Drake to really be up at the same time, because if they are, they might just trade for it. And while you do care about the Infernal Drake, you really don't want it going over to the side of EXE, because they have a lot of AoE on their team, which means they get a lot of benefit from the Infernal Drake.
Yeah, definitely the case here. It's that 4-step process, doing some basic rotations and pushes, and then acquiring the objectives needed. The game should be launching up pretty soon on Exile's end, and there it is, the countdown. Indeed, counting down, and we're back in the game.
So it should see the shove top. Sejuani not going to help shove. She's going to go. They're just going to go straight to the Rift Herald.
They are. Zac and Nivea meeting each other in the jungle. Just going to be a quick exchange of abilities, and it looks like that 4-step process might be ignored here as they're rushing the Rift Herald down.
Yeah, and you might have wanted to just reset, get the...
Uh-oh, Nami in trouble here in the bottom lane. Gamer taken very, very low with the Ignite on him. One more hit is all that it would take, but Kid flashes away defensively. Tries to go for the rocket play, but Xylandis blocks it.
And we see them rotate to prevent the Rift Herald.
A little spiciness in this river here. Doesn't look like it's going to in favor of AOL. Exile find the combo that they've been looking for. That's 2 kills so far. Doc's onto Spike. Looks for the flash play, the right buff, the slow. That's going to be a 3rd kill rolling down. And Exile find themselves on the board. Breakfast and all.
I'm interested about the Zac flash. I'm going to assume that he was just trying to cut off the Anivia. The Anivia keeps running. He throws his Q, hits a minion, does the stretching strikes. It just looked very interesting. And we see them
Yeah.
just rotate directly into the Infernal Drake.
Yeah, little pulling the trigger early, but it doesn't look like Exile Esports will have to worry about the Infernal Dragon at all. They can easily acquire that for themselves.
So I was mistaken, the Nasus did finish, the Rift Herald did pick it up, so they do have that on the side of AOL. I didn't see it in all of the team fight that was happening. But they do have that tool. I would like to see them... I guess turret platings fell off about a minute ago, so they can't just use it to get some turret platings mid or something, and like try to open the map. But Rift Herald will still be strong. Probably won't use it on this wave, probably will look to use it next time they have a good team fight, if they do get a good team fight, to help just break open the map and open up new places for the Nasus to either go to get farm, or to just open up the team to rotate more.
Right now, the Rift Herald is in a bit of a deadlock on both time and location. Time, obviously, due to it expiring. Location being strictly up in this top lane. Nasus won't have the ability to go mid, and unless this bot lane cracks, which shouldn't, still very healthy on the side of Exile Esports, it won't be going bot either.
Won't be going bot. I can see him walking to mid to just drop it real quick if he gets a good chance.
They're looking to also remove that Herald from the map. Sheer Will in trouble here in the top lane, looking for some damage back onto its Kaze. One more stack would do it, and there he goes, Sheer Will, and at 2v1 picking up the kill.
Nasa's at the point where you guys can't kill him, especially if it's you and the Zac. He has MR, you're not going to be able to damage him between the Zac and the cannon.
And now Dot's in trouble in the jungle as well. Will be able to just barely Elastic Slingshot away.
That MR coming in big. Decides not to use the Rift Herald to finish up this tower, just gonna hit it down.
Might use it for the second. It probably won't stay that long, so Rift Herald still up on the side of Olan lane.
Is there any way that I can check to see exactly how long they have?
We can see a little bit from the icon right now that there is less than a fourth left. So Nasus does indeed reset and should be looking to rotate with the team somewhere to use that.
Looks like he's just gonna run it down mid. Let's see, is there any 10 CS lead mid? So that's starting to even out again now that the Anivia is level 11. Got 2 points in a row. Now he starts really shredding the waves. And did decide to go the Roa build.
Yep. As you said, that Roa build, making you very tanky in both the mana and health departments. It does indeed, as with the namesake, take ages to build, but as you get to that stage of the game, is indeed worth every ounce.
Indeed. Gonna use the Rift Herald mid.
Will secure the turret, nothing that Exile can do about that one. Maybe look for a bit of an initiation here. Gamer might be looking for the bubble here on a short Sheer Will, but he just runs out, and the initiation woofed on the side of Exile.
Procs the phase rush, and then just books it out of there. It's like when you tell the dog, ask the dog, do you want to go for a walk? He just starts getting real excited, just books it to the door.
That he does. Could have been a little bad for AOL, but they get out of that one very cleanly, only losing the turret, and I don't believe the Rift Herald got any more damage in the mid lane.
It did not get a second charge off, so we just go back. Looks like the Nest is just gonna walk back top, start farming waves again.
Yeah, and then, as innocent as that may be, it is a Nasus, so ideally that's not what you want him doing. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Exile have too much to necessarily stop that.
We really need Exile to start looking for these team fights. The Cannon's not going to be able to match the Nasus at all anymore. If the Nasus chooses to, probably just runs him down.
Well, yeah, one of the big downsides that we might have minorly overlooked is Exile have a very AP heavy comp. Their only source of AD damage is Xylandis on the Sivir, and Sivir, not exactly, at least not until later on in the game, she isn't the most oppressive of AD characters as far as DPS output goes. So this Nast is very much going to be able to stack the magic resist, safely farm up in this top lane, and I don't even think two people could kill him.
Especially unless one of them is Xylandis, because Annie, lots of AP damage. MR really negates that. Kennen, AP damage. Zac, most of his damage comes out as AP. So
Yes.
you're kind of stuck. You really just need to send someone that can maybe just clear the waves against the Nasus. But at that point, you have no one really, unless you send Xylandis, and then, you know, kind of lose your AD carry for team fights. So not the most ideal.
Bit of a lose-lose situation. Now Sheerwell looking to make some moves on Akaze. Knocks out a fourth of his health bar. Forces the flash. Flashes back. Is looking for more damage on the Kennen here, who's already expended his flash. There's the Wither, and there's the kill.
Like I said, at this point, Nasus just runs the Kennen down. It's like, you've been bullying me all in, now it's my turn to bully you.
Indeed, that very sweet notion for Sheerwell now. And this is terrible on the side of Exile. They're going to lose a second turret 21 minutes in. Sheerwell, he's going to go down for sure, but that was 100% worth it.
See, he may die, but his team gets an Infernal Drake on the other side because the Zac's top lane, so no real way to steal the Infernal Drake from them.
It's going to be very difficult on the side of Exile Esports to work around this Nasus pick here. He's already gotten 2 turrets top lane. If I'm on the side of AOL, send him bot lane and get the rest of the team mid.
I agree, because you want to send them mid, that way the rest of the team is closer to the Baron, so you can rotate into the Baron if they send 2, maybe 3 people to help deal with Nasus. You just transition into the Baron, between the Jinx, between the Anivia, you can start taking that Baron really quickly.
You can, this bot lane still very docile, but Xylandis is now knocked up. Will be able to escape due to a very nice double bubble from Gamer. I will look to make some plays bot lane, but again, not as successful.
Kid of Fire took a lot of damage to try and get that bait to work.
Hard beating it a little bit on the side of AOL.
And taking about half his health, a little bit more in damage. We see the Nasus back by his Trinity Force, gonna start really hurting now.
Yeah, definitely the case. What is working out in favor of Exile Esports, though, is indeed the Sivir pickup. It hasn't done anything detrimental to our team, sitting in a very comfortable 000 score, and will be able to clear waves very quickly.
Can clear very waves. On the side of EXE, you have a big shutdown on Nona right now. Why? 2 kills, 2 assists, 700 gold bounty.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Riot, fix your bounty system. There's no. I mean,
I think it's that one.
Spike is 0-1-0 and he has a 450 gold bounty.
Alright, I'll agree with that. That one doesn't make any sense. Either way, Sheerwell, he's getting jumped on again. This wouldn't be the first time for him. Tibbers does indeed land on its target, but Nona taken low from this one. Forced to flash away. Sheerwell taking damage. The redemption to come down. It's not going to save him. Nona picks up his 3rd kill of the game.
Well, that redemption was coming down for the side of EXE, not AOL, so it would never have saved him. But I was really kind of hoping to see maybe Gamer KS the kill with the redemption. Would have been entertaining to see.
Would have been entertaining, but not quite the case.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
definitely some interesting stuff so far. On the side of Exile Esports, we did indeed see them successfully end up killing this Nasus. What really went right for Exile there? Is that how they're going to be able to deal with Nasus every time?
And it's not ideal how you want to deal with Nasus, because if AOL had been on the ball, they could have rotated straight into the Baron. You know the Zack's not there. You know the Annie's not there. Two of the strongest members for Exile Gaming. They just burn that Baron down, and you have two of your main people bot lane with no way to get to the Baron.
Yeah, well, a little scary for them. I mean, does indeed work, but if AOL were a little quick on the trigger, might have spelled D00M for them. Does not, and we just return to the mid lane where both Sivir and Anivia, the queens of wave clearing, just duking it out.
We're not going to see a push for either team really in the mid lane.
Oh no, this doesn't look good. Flash is already down for Nona. That's a giant Nasus, and an easy plus 12 coming through.
Nasus just said, you know, you came after me last time, I'm going to come after you, and I'm going to hit you with this cane and give you the plus 12.
Oh boy, that's also the massive shutdown as well in favor of Nasus, so he's now sitting very pretty on 2,000 gold.
Got money in the bank.
That he was. His 420 KDA got ruined, he had to get back at it somehow.
You're not wrong. Can't believe that they just ruin his KDA like that. How are you gonna do that, Exile?
No, you're not. Well, split push Nasus indeed coming into effect here. Shearwell gets one turret in the bottom lane, won't go any further for the second.
All of the members of Exile are hanging around the dragon, hoping to maybe get this Infernal. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they just have to give it up. Unless you can maybe get a really good team fight going.
Well, if you're on the side of Exile, is that really your only option at this point?
You just have to pull the trigger and hope for the best at this point. Otherwise you're just gonna slowly bleed out the game.
Kennen trying to answer back with a push of his own in this top lane, but by no means were successful. Dox goes in with the elastic slingshot. They're forcing this one. Oshun uses the ultimate. He's soaking up the crowd control so far. He will get answered through his flash, and he is going to go down here. That is more than enough of Exile to pick up the kill. Xylanders flashes forward and secures it.
You had to burn a lot for that pick onto the Alistar. You had to burn Sivir flash, Zack ult, Sivir
Mid
ult,
lane
not
pressure. The list goes on. Is it worth it? Kidafire not getting off the steal. They do indeed have 2 out of the 3 Infernals for themselves, so not bad. But again, was it worth it?
Again, I think that AOL could have just said, hey guys, they're all bot, let's just go do the Baron. You have the Nasus up there, you have the Sejuani to tank it, you have the Anivia, I think you could just do it, but what do I know, I'm just silver.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. Alas, though, this is looking like a very rough game for Exile. Now 1-5 in turrets. Fortunately, due to successful farming, the gold deficit isn't too big. We're only looking at a rough 2,000, 28, 29 minutes into the game, which isn't too much at this stage.
There's a lot of standing gold on the map too. If Exile ever manages to break the top lane outer turret, mid lane outer turret, it's a lot of gold that they just gained back. So they could really look to try and get those, but they do have to be conscious of the Nasus bot lane. If they send too many people for the Nasus like they're currently doing, I'm pretty sure, AOL can just run to the Baron and do it. You have a little bit of vision on the Baron, but not nearly enough to be content with it, in my opinion.
No, you don't. And right now, it doesn't look good on the side for Exile. Kaze getting in all sorts of trouble here. Does indeed use the speed away. Flashes as well. Not sure if that got right or not, but now Young Jing doesn't go for the play and gets the flash anyways.
I think Kaze saw the Sejuani W, maybe thought it was the ult flying at him, got nervous, and just decided to flash to be safe. Not having flash on cannon is a really big tool though. That hurts him a lot. But I think he's just thinking better safe than sorry.
Better safe than sorry. I mean, that does indeed not get him killed. He could have very much been killed if AOL decided to commit to that up in the top lane, but still, as you just said, very critical with that flash now being down on the cannon. That's going to disable Exile Esports' team fighting capabilities by a lot for the next couple minutes.
I don't think that you can really use your flash there defensively, though. I think you absolutely need it for a team fight, but again, I think he just got nervous. It happens. Nasus just...
Oh boy. Alright, well, looking to run down some fish, but dogs are only good on the land. Nami able to get out safe.
I thought we were about to see someone turn into some sushi, but guess not.
No, not quite.
We're approaching 300 CS for both of our 80 carries, and Spike as well. The mid lane and the 80 carry for AOL doing really well at CS in this game. Have a lot of gold, hitting 3 items, both respectively, very soon, if not already at 3 items.
Yeah, so far so good on the side for All-One Lane. They're looking for another catch. That flash no longer up for Kaze, and the Sejuani ultimate is still up. There it is! As it comes back to haunt him, Kaze taken very low on this one, uses the stopwatch defensively, and now Kid of Fire might just get blown up into fire! Now Nona on the chase, looking for another kill, has a stun set up. There's the Tide Caller's Blessing, and Nivea forced to flash away from this one and barely able to escape.
We saw Kid of Fire get a lot of counterplay dropped on him when the Annie Tibbers just dropped on his head and blew him up.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that is working for Exile Esports, is this Annie and the Tibbers just able to blow up a target.
It's a lot of damage, it's a lot of AoE, it's a very good stun. I would like to see... I kind of wish I saw them do something with their pick, but the Nas is just shoving in bot lane, so they don't really get to do much with it.
Yeah, definitely the case, and a little unfortunate for IOL. They're going to have to position smartly if they want to actually have counterplay to the Annie so far.
I don't know why we're starting the Baron. It's a little too late for that. Don't really have the pressure to do it, especially since your Annie is currently bot lane trying to deal with the Nasus.
Yeah, definitely, and now this is a little scary. IOL are looking at a second Ocean Dragon. I don't know if Exile want to contend. Looks like they will try to, and he does able to steal it. Dox with a very nice might steal. Is going to bring 2 over the wall with them, and he will get taken out for his efforts, but still a very nice steal.
I can agree with attempting to steal it, because if Anivia gets the second Ocean, she will never run out of mana, neither will the Jinx, so just never be able to siege into them unless you pick both of them. But this does allow, because you are dead, they just get to rotate into the Baron.
Yeah, this could be really bad on the side for Exile Esports. All-One Lane, they're doing the Baron Asher here. Have to be super careful though. Kid could get blown up by Nona if he gets too close up into the front. Positions in the back of the pit here. Anivia looking to zone, Ocean looking to zone. They're dishing out damage on towards this Baron Asher. Kaze! What in the world? Way too close. He's gonna go down instantly. AOL, another flash acquired from Exile Esports and the Baron Asher.
Again, you might have gotten the Ocean Drake, but is it really worth the Baron? I'm gonna go with no.
No, I mean, good steal, don't get me wrong, but that wasn't... I mean, it's still really impactful. It wasn't at the levels of the 3rd Infernal Dragon, potentially. It's still double Ocean important, but Baron Asher just got absolutely run down as a result.
Kaze also just steps a little too close, eats the Anivia combo, dies, giving over even a little bit more gold.
Effort's going from bad to worse so far, and albeit as far as gold goes, it should be a lot higher, but it's only a 3,000 gold lead on the side of 1 lane so far. This game is salvageable for Exile, but it's going to be very rough.
It's going to be very rough, especially when you consideration the Anivia late game's coming online, the Jinx is coming online, Nasus is already level 18 and is a monster, same with the Anivia. You just have the Nasus go bot, split push, you have the Anivia and Jinx just shove mid. The Baron, you can't really wave clear even with a Sivir. It's just gonna be really rough.
Yeah, definitely, they look to the flank, it gets cancelled by Oshun on the Alistar. That's gonna do wonders for AOL. The A gets transformed, Doc's looking for a good ulti here, but do Exile Esports have the damage to answer back on this one? Kid firing safely in the back line, might just turn on them here. Sheerwell versus Known in the bottom lane, it's not going anywhere, and Exile Esports are able to come out on top.
I wouldn't really say Exile came out on top. Yes, you trade for the Alistar, but you haven't stopped the siege. Those two cannon minions are just wailing away on your turret at this point.
It does look like they'll be given enough leeway to be able to take those two down, but still very close stuff on the side for Exile.
Nasus is just like, hey guys, I'm down here. I'm not gonna leave. Now he leaves, making me a liar.
Yeah, making you look like a liar. How does that make you feel?
It hurts.
It hurts? Well, that's unfortunate, because that's exactly what he just did. Sheerwell now looking to overextend and possibly get himself picked off.
Looks like Sheerwell is just gonna take the Krugs, farm a bit more stacks.
So far, I believe Nasus is sitting on a lot of stacks right now. We've approached 289 CS. We take a quick look right now. We can see 97 stacks, so that's pretty good on the side for Nasus.
That's not 97.
No, that's not 97. Yikes! Either way, Kaze now getting jumped on again by Sheerwell. It doesn't look like he'll be able to escape. He's still getting run down. The rest of Exile all around the corner, and they're able to get the flash.
That's not 97 stacks, that's 984 stacks.
184, yeah. Still pretty scary to come through on this Nasus. We're getting an atrocious late game, albeit Dox lands the initiation onto Kid. That's going to be 1 kill, looking for 2 on the side of Exile. The flash not going to mean anything either way, and that is 2 kills for Sivir.
Xylanus picking up 2 kills, very nice. He's starting to actually reach the late game Sivir. It might be starting to get too late.
They might actually be able to get a kill on a Sheerwell here. A cheeky stop on the recall may just lead to a kill. Kaze taking low, but it's not going to matter. The shutdown now coming through for Exile.
Ooh, looks like they're just going to rotate into the Elder, or they're just going to go straight for the Elder.
Going straight for that Elder Dragon. Doesn't look like Spike on this Anivia and Nanjung on this Sejuani are able to do too much, nor should they. So the Elder Dragon will indeed go over to Exile Esports.
Again, the Elder Drake, really good for you. You get equivalent of 3 Infernals, 1.5 Ocean Drakes, and you get the burn on top of it.
Not bad, but how much are they going to be able to do with it right now? Because up until the last couple of minutes at least, almost all the fights have been going in favor of AOL.
I mean, that Elder Drake's gonna give you a lot of team fight potential. If I was AOL, just wait out the Elder Drake. It's just the first one, it's not gonna last that long. Just zone them out from the Baron Pit, make it that you're gonna try to contest you at the Baron Pit. Just Baron Dance. Waste their Elder. And he has to be bot lane to catch the wave.
definitely now some vision getting cleared by Exile. This game, unfortunately for them, has gone on very long. Anivia now getting very much her time to shine.
Maybe it's just gonna say, hey, this is a nice wave you have, R. Where'd the wave go? It doesn't
Can't do
exist
anything
anymore.
about it. You really can't.
I mean, you can look to, if you're the Annie, just flash ult her and try to one-shot her afterwards, but then you use your flash and you kind of, at this point, you really need to look for a flash and just delete the Jinx and the Anivia.
Yeah, they might actually get a pick now as Zylan is taken low on this one. Dox, he's in the back line, but he's all on his own. Dame on the side for sure will be. He's got the damage that he is absolutely dishing on. He will go down. So far a 1-4-1. Zach's going to go down as well. The fight going in favor of AOL.
The Jinx and the Sejuani can just duo the Baron. Nothing that can really happen. And then you can just look to shove mid, get the inhib, maybe shove top instead and look to trade that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you gotta ask a multiple choice question right here, which tank does more damage in the back line? Is it going to be A, Zach, B, Nasus, C or D are not relevant? Alright, which one? Is it A or B?
This is a trick question. Nasus isn't a tank.
Well, he certainly was tanky, and quote me on that one, but still, able to dish out more than enough damage in the back line. Not anywhere near what Zach was able to accomplish.
And Zach's really good at locking people down and just picking people. But if he's just alone in a back line, he's not going to really be able to do much other than just be a nuisance. And when you are a 4-item Jinx, that nuisance isn't going to live very long.
No, it is not. Kidfire now looking very strong on this Jinx, having himself the Phantom Dance, the Hurricane, completed Infinity Edge, Lord's Dominic's Regards, and looking towards that Guardian Angel.
You can do the Guardian Angel here. It's probably what I do. It's just, hey, you guys can kill me once, but now you gotta kill me twice, and by that time the Nasus already probably hit you a bunch, and you're probably dead.
Yeah, making things even trickier for the side of Exile Esports. Both teams, 70,000 plus gold. Initiation gets cancelled by Ocean. That is great on the side, but is he going to go down for it instead? The traps aren't going to be able to do anything here. Alistar taken very low. Another initiation landing, and there's the kill to come through. Now Spike taken very low on this one. He will get turned to an egg and also end up dying.
They're not... AOL isn't playing their sieges as well as they need to. They are leaving a lot of positions open for Zach to just come in, jump. Good cancel by Alistar, but you put yourself in the base and then you just die for it.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a little bit of that Sivir damage, albeit the Nasus damage looking big as well. Here Will flashes in, forcing both flashes out from the AP carries on the side of Exile Esports, and he might just get gunned down here. Doc's now looking to get some damage. Nasus, his healing is doing so much so far. He might just be able to get out of this one scot-free. Now towards the top lane, Zylandis. Inhibitor does get exposed, looking for some damage onto Now Young Jing. Has a lot of damage, the crit doing so much, and the Proto Belt ends up what's killing Kid of Fire, but in the bottom lane, the Inhibitor goes down.
Like I said, late game Sivir, those ricochets do a lot of damage. You get crit by one of them, you're just like, wait, where'd I get hit from? And you just start dying, you start getting shredded by the crits, especially when you are at 75% crit.
Yeah, definitely some super scary stuff on both sides, and we're starting to see how Exile need to play these fights. They need to pick off members with that Zac initiation. They need to not get picked off themselves, and need to rely on AOL to be the ones to make the mistake.
And well, it doesn't really matter at this point, because at this point in the game, gold leads start becoming a moot point, because both teams are starting to get 5-6 items. The gold lead's gone. It's 76k to 75k.
Completely irrelevant at this stage of the game. We're approaching that 45-minute marker, and right now it's just coming down really to how these teams play these very crucial sieges and team fights.
Agreed. It just comes down. You met one little mess up, and it's game. We see Exile starting to start up the Elder.
They do start up the Elder, albeit Nona does get himself in a very frisky position. Might dispel the enemy now. Kaze getting gunned down this top lane. We've seen this story before. Throws down the defensive slicing Maelstrom and turns on a stopwatch, but he will end up dying afterwards. Now the Elder Dragon getting focused down, and it does get secured by well, Nasus is free roaming in the base.
That's gonna be GG. They tried committing for the Elder. They lost at the Elder while the Nasus just ran down Kaze in the base.
Hot damn! All on lane are the ones to come out victorious here and take down the #1 seed Exile Esports.
It was a good game to watch, a very long game to watch.
Very long, but with AOL drafted, can we really say we're surprised?
We are not surprised, that is for sure. Looking at these damage charts, the Nasus and the Civ are really going at it to see who could do the most damage.
Yeah, absolutely the case here. Both of them topping the charts here and very much close to each other.
Sejuani, not really doing a whole ton of damage this game. Wasn't spending a lot of time fighting. Mostly spent her time clearing the camps, being in position to try and get engages. I'm curious to see our favorite stat here at Duo Esports for control wards purchased. Everyone purchased at least one. That's good.
Okay, that's good. But leading all of those control ward purchases is indeed Nayoung Jin on the Sejuani, tied with Gamer as well. So both of them have a very nice 12 control wards.
Who used their vision score more effectively, though? The highest vision score in the game is Gamer at 104.
Pretty good stuff out of him, as expected of a support, as you get this late into the game, but still, all in all, very good stuff.
So, I'm excited to see what this AOL roster is doing. Cut some people, move some people around. They seem very late game oriented with this team, but I'm curious to see what else they can do. They've been looking very good so far.
That they haven't taken down the #1 team is most definitely an adrenaline rush. There won't be the end of AOL. Yeah, we will see them on stream again, taking on Active Rush Academy later on the night. But first things come first. Next up is the GPCS, as Enigmatic Gaming looks to get an upset of their own versus the #2 seed Active Rush. We'll be right back at you with the answer to that game.